What's going on, y'all? So listen.
What's going on, y'all? So we are back again for another episode review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 4, episode 5, Coin to Make, not Friends to Fake. But let's just get up into this episode because I feel like now let me tell y'all something. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about Melanie. It's Melody. That's her name. I don't know how I feel about Melody anymore because I feel as though, when the show first came out, like it was all Team Holtz and stuff like that, But then when Martell started doing the stuff that he was doing, it was Team Melody, because he really did some fucked up shit. And now the way that she moving with Destiny, it's just, and Destiny got her faults too, but the way that she been moving, like, I don't know, like, girl, I just don't like it. I don't like it. Like, it makes me feel like, and I hate to say this, it makes me feel like the shit that Tisha was saying about Melanie only use people for friends till she ain't got no more use for them. You only her friend until she ain't got no more use for you. And that's exactly what it feels like between Destiny and her. Even though Destiny was thirsty for her friendship, and that probably was something that kind of pushed Mel away too, because that would have pushed me away too. So maybe that played a part into their little breakdown. But at the same time, that little conversation that happened at the end of the episode, I was just like, ugh, to both of them, honestly. But moving on from there, let's just get into the episode. It picks up what we left off last week with Kiki. Kiki said, "Bitch, who you out here talking about me too now?" Girl, I don't give a damn if I said Kiki was wrong as shit, but when she came out there, I would have said the same thing. Who you out here talking about me too now? Okay? She was like, nah, I ain't talking to you. I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about the situation to Kimmy. Okay? Well, the situation is Kiki and Mel or whatever, so you're talking about her. And mind you, Kimmy is still on the phone when they're talking about this whole thing. And they're going back and forth. Oh, you're a hypocrite. Oh, you said this. Oh, you said that. Well, we already talked about this 4 or 5 years ago. And I apologize and this and everything. Why you keep bringing it up? And somebody pointed out, like, the same way that Kiki brought up the whole situation from 4 or 5 years ago was the same way Tisha brought up the whole situation about Mel, trying to mess up her marriage and all this stuff at the reunion, something that Mel and her, or at least Mel, thought that they was past, that they had made up over. But, it's just like what goes around comes around. So she just getting a little taste of it and she don't know how to handle it. That's just what it is. Like, and did y'all hear what she said? She told Kiki, if we were not cousins, we would not be friends. You're somebody that I would I be friends with. Didn't Kimmy say the same thing to her at the reunion? Asked if they were not, she was not married to the Maurice. If they had no relationship ties like that, she would not be a friends with a person like Tisha. It's the same thing that she said to Kiki. It's like history repeating itself. And with Tisha at this point, of course, Kiki got in her feelings about the fact that Kimmy was still on the phone. She's like, see, bitch, and I ain't got no respect for you right now. Girl, because Kimmy's still on the phone and you saying all this shit. Tisha was like, listen, she done hung up. She done hung up. I'm just sitting here like, y'all just need to go y'all separate ways at this point. Because at the end of the day, Kiki, the issue is not that you went over there to Mel's place. The issue is that you went over there to Mel's place and you engaged in the conversation that was talking about Tisha. All right. That is your family. Regardless of where you guys stand at, and if you expected a relationship and expected things to be cool afterwards and everything to be on a good front and good footing, you should have walked away from the situation, or you should have shut that conversation down. Instead, you engaged in it. Nobody has a problem that you went over there. Honestly, I wouldn't have went, given that I know that they're in a heightened situation at this point, and I would have known that it looked a little funny, okay, and I would have felt some type of way, even though you say Mel known you first before Tisha or whatever. I still would have felt like maybe, given that Mel probably know the relationship that I got with Tisha, that she'll probably use that to get some information out of me or whatever. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened, and that's what people are saying when we, the people, I don't know how many of y'all feel like she was wrong, but I'm in the majority or that number who feel like she was wrong for engaging into the conversation. That's all that it is. And you were wrong. You were definitely wrong. Even if it wasn't that much being said, you still engaged in it and you shouldn't have. Okay? Family over these bitches that you don't know like that. You don't know Mel like that. I honestly, because if you did, you would have known that what she was trying to do. Okay, we all saw that shit. Moving on from that, Martell go visit Marceau at the his little work business. I was listening to the Friend Zone podcast with Dustin Ashante and friend hey, and hey friend hey. She said she was catching up on Love and Marriage Huntsville because she just did like a binge of the whole series. She was like, and Marceau, do he even work? Because every time we see him, just about, he always laying down up in the bed or something like that. And I had to think about it and say, there has been some scenes with Marceau in previous seasons where he is laying in the bed or laying on the bed or whatever, just talking his stuff with Tisha or whatever. But then it just made me laugh because now he's actually in a work environment, like with the actual company that he's with and not the wine company in black. So that shit just made me laugh. I just had to mention that. If y'all need a good podcast to listen to, it's called The Friend Zone. Anyway, so he's over there and Martell come up in there. Martell is such a bitch, all right? Martell is such a bitch. Let me just say this. I see what Martell is doing. Melody is not filming with him. So at this point, he is going to milk the shit out of this whole book signing situation. Because they do the little small chat, talk or whatever. And then he was like, Marcel was like, so what's been going on? He was like, I had the book signing. And, well, Mel didn't bring the kids over there to the book signing. Marcel was like, I said, wait a minute, Marcel. Like, he was genuinely shocked. And I'm sitting here like, come on now. Come on. Honestly, initially, yeah, I'd be shocked for a second, but then I have to remember they're in the midst of a custody shit, And so maybe let me hear her out. Let me hear it out. Basically, he tried to lead with, they're authors and, she just wouldn't let them come. And I gave her prime time to come and, let her know what's going on and when they should come and all this stuff. And she had all the opportunity. I said, no, you did not. And then he slid in there. Y'all notice how he slid in there. But yeah, well, I want to be 100% mad at her, but, it was on her weekend. And I'm sitting here like, what, you should have led with that. Okay. And then you got Marceau feeling some type of way because he's like, the kids are authors. This is something that should have been able to happen for them, especially if they was excited to go. How do we know that they was excited to go? Get the kids. I need to hear from them. Okay. Put the mama to the side. Put the kids in a little room. Did y'all want to go to the book signing? Did y'all know about daddy book signing? I need to know the truth from the kids because kids will tell you the truth. All right. But at the same time, well, most time they will. At the same time, Marceau was up in the confessional and basically like, it's messed up what Mel did, but at the same time, they're both using the kids as pawns. I said it's not really messed up what Mel did. Mel, and I honestly, as I said before, I don't feel like Mel would be that devious and that evil of a person to hold the kids back from something that's so significant in their life, as being a book author, something like that. That's important. That's a milestone. They're young and they're authors. They can say that. But it's the fact that Martell only told her about it in a couple of days. Mind you, she already had stuff planned, okay? And they were already doing this trip. Now, if he knew about the book signing way in advance of when it was supposed to happen. He knew about it way in advance of the 2 days that Mel claimed that he told her, okay? You could have been told her this. And she could have had it in the schedule if she wanted to sacrifice that weekend, because I don't think she's that much of a bitch to do that and be like, no, let me keep the kids away because I don't fuck with Martell and I want him to have a piece of his own medicine. You know what I'm saying? She could have compromised and could have been like, okay, well, since you told me in advance, I think about it. I go ahead and, try to move some things around and let them come. I feel like she would have did that. And the only reason why she didn't do that is because he didn't do it in enough time, and she caught on to the fact that he was trying to use this to control the situation. That's why he told her 2 days or a day in advance. That's it. That's it. I'm just sitting here like, Martell, let it go. We don't feel sorry for you. And I don't look at Mel as the bad guy in this situation. Okay, again, court order, it was her weekend. Let's move on from that. So then he was talking about some, we be emailing. Marcel said email. The way he said email, it was like so prehistoric. Like that's what we communicate like. It was like, yeah, I gotta keep a paper trail or whatever because I ain't got the numbers and I can't get through. I said, why? Why you don't have it like that? It's your fault. Honestly, it's your fault. But anyway, Martell would do anything to try to make Mel look like the bad guy because you notice that Mel hasn't really been talking about Martell as much. She brings him up slightly towards the end of the episode, but other than that, she ain't really harping on him like that. No, well, as much like trying to paint him as in a bad light more than what he already is, you know what I'm saying? But moving on from there, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong on that. That's just how I see it right now. I told him about the whole thing about going to Atlanta, having a wine release party down there, and, we should do a boys trip. I said, now, why would you say that? With all of the controversy that's going on about the old boys trip that happened in 2015, 2018, whatever the hell it happened, okay, you going to say, we should have another boys trip. I said, no. He was like, no, this time we go like to a lounge and, we just have some fun or whatever. It shouldn't matter what people say because listen, I'm single, okay? Marcel was like, okay, yeah, cool. Cause Martell said, he ain't gonna have no family or nothing down there. So he just want to do a boys thing. And, Marcel said, I guess. I really don't care about what other people's opinions are. It's only a few people that I care about their opinions, and Tisha is one of them. Like, she's the top of the list. So, as long as she cool with it, I'm cool with it. I said, all right. Honestly, you should be able to go places with your peoples and not get into fucking trouble. Okay? But see, y'all got reputations of doing dirty shit. And so, therefore, that's going to precede you and follow you. So, this is what you got to deal with. Meanwhile, the main reason why Martell came there was to talk about buying back into the Schultz business that they all put together. And basically they was cool at one point, so they came together and they formed the Holtz and the Scotts. They came together, formed Schultz, SCHOLT, formed the company. And then when all that stuff, that fallout happened in season 1, season 2, they separated themselves from each other. And now Martell wants to buy back in. Marceau, instead of just saying, no, I can't do that and I don't want to do that, he was like, I don't have the deciding vote because I don't have the majority of the shares. The majority of the shares are with Tisha, and she is my wife and she's a part of this whole thing, so I have to talk to her about it first. So, until then, to see how things are going with you on the business tip or whatever, you should try to do a joint venture type of situation and get in on this business thing, this venture business thing that's going on with Destiny. Destiny is trying to, make some sweets at Ladani, her business or whatever, her little beauty shop or whatever that it is that she got going on. And, some salon sweets or whatever. And so he was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And so it's like a test run to see if they're okay and how smoothly they can work together again after all the friction and bullshit that happened, And so they gonna see how it is, because when it first was good, it was good, but then he wanted to go this direction, they wanted to go this direction, and that's what caused the fracturing. So I don't know. Meanwhile, Maurice and Kimmy, they up in the theater room. He trying to, put the TV up, and she talking about how sexy he is. I said, girl, I don't need to hear all that. It made me think about what Marceau said last week. Was it last week or whatever, when he was talking about, listen, I don't need to hear all that shit about my sister-in-law. I don't keep that shit in the bedroom, okay? I don't want to hear what y'all be doing, all right? Just, I don't want to think about that like that. And I said the same thing about, we don't need to hear that. We know y'all be doing some nasty shit, because Kimmy just gives me that, she know how to keep it cute up in the street, but she know how to freak it out up in the sheets. I was like, all right, Kimmy, I don't want to see it right now, but, yeah. So she sat there and she just had to tell her, like, listen, let me tell you, oh my God, Tisha called me, right? And she was having this situation with Kiki because she talked to Kiki down there Black about this whole thing about the Christmas party and mail and all that stuff. And next thing all I'm hearing is Kiki confronting her, talking about who you talking to when you a hypocrite and you saying this and you saying that. And you talking about the what she say? How you gonna call Kimmy and talk about the situation about her and Mel when you was talking about you brought me up to Mel and all this stuff? It was just a mess, okay? So basically, Kimmy is like, I'm listening to all of this and I'm just like, this ain't got shit to do with me, so please just leave me out of it. Maurice was like, well, the next step is to have daughter and niece sit down with Auntie Mama, aka Wanda, okay, and get this shit squared away or whatever. And it was like, they might pull your ass in. You know how they do. I said, Kimmy, yeah, unfortunately, you a part of it for now. We'll see how long you'll be able to stay out of it. We saw next week, Miss Wanda gonna sit down with Kiki. Baby, Kiki looks so tired in the face compared to Wanda. I said, oh, whatever Wanda doing, Kiki, you need to do too. Okay? Girl, your bags only need your ass looking like mine's, girl. Like, shit, we ain't getting no sleep because I know I ain't. But hell, what's going on, mama? Meanwhile, Destiny, she goes down there to Maurice's office. And I do like the fact that they try to put certain, for the most part, the show was supposed to be about seeing these Black couples and their business and being successful, and also showing the entrepreneurship side of things, Black entrepreneurs, and having teachable moments. And this was a teachable moment for somebody because it was talking about financial literacy. We're talking about a lot of the struggles that people are going through today for whatever reason. And I'm not even going to shade Destiny. I just need to understand what happened. Because, Destiny, I just be feeling like since last season, she does not tell us everything that's going on. But yet you are on a show with these couples and we see every single thing that is happening. We hear every single thing that is happening with them. But yet with her, we barely know anything. We barely know anything, and I wish, she didn't have to. But it probably would have made people gravitate more to her if she would have opened up a little bit more about her struggles last year, and brought people in, you know what I'm saying? But now she's talking to Maurice about trying to rebuild her credit because of what happened after her divorce and basically how her savings is basically almost wiped out. And, she was surviving off of credit cards, trying to keep her business open. And it's been open and closed, open and closed, open and closed, trying to keep the payroll up and all of this. And, getting on public assistance. Maurice was like, you mean PPP loan? She said, no, public assistance. He was like, what? And I'm still trying to figure that out too, because it was like, I thought it was, I don't, and I may be ignorant, but I just didn't know that, like, did it really, like, what is the threshold to get on public assistance? Like, did you literally just have nothing and you was coming into the using the red and everything and you just in debt or whatever, you just really didn't have nothing? And how much was you getting on public assistance? Like, I just really want to know, because that's just fascinating to me to know that, you have this business and you had this marriage, and it's like, how is LeBaric faring after all of this? Mind you, he got his own business, the chicken business, so like, what's his financial situation? See, bitch, it's a whole bunch of shit that we don't know. I mean, granted, we don't need to be all up in her business like that, but bitch, you on a reality show and I need to know. Somebody gonna be like, Ashley, it ain't your business. I know, but damn, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand, y'all. Okay, but yeah, she was doing all of that, and he was like, what's going on with LaDonia? Is that the name of the business, LaDonia or LaDonia? Either way, LaDonia, we gonna call her LaDonia. She was like, it's been opening and closed and opening and closed. He was like, what about the actual building? She said, he said, because what you need to do is try to get some revenue coming in there. And what you should try to do is make it so that it's operational when you're not there. And what he meant about that is literally what she's doing now. She's trying to put the suites in. And it's just like, that's how it is when I go to my get my hair done or whatever. It's Solar Salons, and y'all probably heard about it. And if not, they all over the country. And it's basically this one company this one company that got a whole bunch of different hair suites up in there. Y'all know how it is. And that's what she trying to do. Rent them out, get paid off of that. She said she want to put like a content room in there, and I was like, yeah, you gotta make the best with what you got, because everybody doing a goddamn podcast, everybody doing social media stuff or whatever, and you can have people rent the room out and come in there, record, and make videos and all this stuff, and pay for it. You have to find a hustle and find some money opportunities anywhere right about now, and not let this building go to waste. And she was saying how she was keeping the stuff afloat by using her personal savings. And he was like, that is not good. That is not good. But he is there to help her. And meanwhile, he gonna bring up the fact that I heard that you not friends with a friend of mine or whatever. Because I know you said that you bring needing a village, and that she into it with one of the friends in the village. She was like, no, I'm not into it with Mel. Mel is into it with me for whatever reason. All right. She was like, she not speaking to her, and she don't understand why. She don't think that it's fair. And Maurice was like, knowing what you know now about the whole situation between Mel and Tisha, because she did tell him, she said Tisha was her enemy. And he was like, what? She was like, yeah. It was like, well, knowing that you know now about Tisha being her enemy or whatever, would you still be friends with Tisha even if you did not know about that, or even if Mel and her were friends, or you knew about it, them being enemies? She was like, knowing what I know now, yes. But if she would have known that, Mel felt the way that she felt about Tisha, she would have approached the situation differently. And then what shocked me was the fact that she said when she was going through all the stuff that she was going through in the past year or so, she was talking to Tisha about it. Mel wasn't there for her. Tisha was the one that was there for her. They barely talked. And I said, damn, that's kind of fucked up, and it's making me look at Mel a little different. But then again, like I said, I can't really judge and be like, well, I'm on this side or that side, because it's like, it's so many sides to the story. And I feel like what's happening in this situation is Mel has her truth, Destiny has her truth, but the real truth is somewhere in between both of what they're saying. That's what I feel like that's happening. Marcel and Tisha, they have a little conversation at Black. I said, look at Tisha trying to look like a boss lady. I said, all right, bitch, you tired of people saying you don't do shit. Okay, she said, listen, I got to count these goddamn receipts, okay? Tax season is coming up. I hope y'all filed y'all taxes. Wasn't the last day yesterday? But yeah, so they over there talking, she was like, listen, Marcel, so mama gonna come in and she gonna shadow you at the cigar bar, in the kitchen, because she needs to know how to run her little food truck or whatever. Of course, Marcel gonna have an issue with it, but he gonna go ahead and give in, because that's Tisha mama. But he tells her about the fact that Martell came over there talking about wanting to bat back into Schultz. And she was just like, thank you for telling me, but the way she feel about it is, you broke my trust, and it's kind of hard to get that trust back, And she was like, even though he apologized for putting out that rumor about him cheating with 20 different women and all this other stuff. It's just one of those situations where I know you said he seemed like a different person. He seemed like the old Martell, but it's one of those things where I just, it just feels as though that same side of him that put that shit out there and did what he did is still there. And I said, yes, it is. Yes, it very much is. Zebra can't change his stripes, okay? And she's just not really here for it at this moment. Like, he told her about the joint venture that he's going to be working with Destiny in. And she was like, that's cool and all, but for right now, I just don't see him, buying back in. And I actually agree with Tisha on this, okay? Because, when it comes to business is nothing to play with. And if I can't trust you with my money, I can't trust you with getting my product out and making sure my stuff is running smoothly, because like Marcel said, I have to protect my family as well, and protect our brand. So y'all can't come in, you can't come in, and you can't fuck shit up. And that's what Tisha is on. And I'm very much here for that. I'm on her side with that one. Then we had this at the very end of the episode. Mel and Destiny had this little meet up. Mel is already sitting down there. Destiny, I guess Destiny is the one that called the meeting. But if Destiny called the meeting, how come Mel was already there and Destiny, you going to meet her? Either way. Mel was like, okay, so you the reason why we here. What we got to talk about? And she was like, I don't know, cause I'm confused about what's going on. Okay, so listen. Basically, what's going on is, Destiny said, I'm hearing from mutual friends that you got an issue with me. Mel said, what you mean about mutual friends? Because mutual friends, if I ever have a conversation with somebody, I don't bring you up. And if they do bring you up, I'd be vague with the answer, like really, really vague about what's going on, if there's anything that's going on. So what are you talking about? And she was like, the drama that's going on, or alleged drama that's going on between them is, causing Destiny to miss out on business opportunities. She said basically somebody, I guess, who knows Mel, who was working on something with Destiny, pulled out because of some drama or whatever that was going on between them, I guess, on the internet and all this stuff. And damn near implying, if not, well, basically implying that Mel had something to do with it. Like Mel told the lady, this is what's going on. She was like, the lady was so in details about all the stuff that was happening or whatever. And this is the reason why she pulled out. Like she knew so much stuff about me and all this stuff. And I'm just sitting here like, Mel, you up here telling people not to work with this girl? Mel, of course, is not going to say, yeah, I'm telling people not to work with you. No, she going to say she not. Okay? Now, see, this the thing about Mel that bothers me. She makes it seem as if she's not doing something, and she would never do anything like that. And like Destiny said, she knows the right words to say. She manipulates the situation, and that's why I have said before, that is the reason why Martell and Mel were together. They're literally the same people when it comes to certain situations. They both know how to manipulate things to their advantage. They do. They really do. But when it comes to this whole situation between Mel and Destiny, I think it's really very much unfortunate that it come down to this. And, do I think that Mel will literally go out her way to stop Destiny, people from working with Destiny? I don't want to say that she wouldn't, but I don't put anything past her. I want to say that she wouldn't, but I don't put anything past her that she would do that. And she probably wouldn't necessarily just be like, don't work with her, girl. She'll probably, fix the situation or make the conversation as something to make that person think like, damn, all this shit going on, maybe I don't want to work with a person like that. That's what she'll probably do. And that's probably what happened with Destiny and this other person. But, also, Destiny, you have to take responsibility as well, okay? Because your action, can get yourself, look at how you acted in the last season. You know what I'm saying? That can affect your way of people wanting to work with you, whatever. Like, you was clinging so much and wanting Mel's attention and the way that you acted at her video release party. And, girl, and then what happened? I couldn't stand, like, Mel, why you keep on... Mel called the girl aggressive. Okay, you up here being aggressive. I hate that. She was not being aggressive in that moment. And we already know as black women, that is what we always get called. Aggressive or angry black women. You know what I'm saying? As an insult. It's nothing positive about that. And depending on it's a connotation. It's a negative connotation behind it. And most of the time when it's said, it's in a racial way. But in this situation, it's just a negative way, and it will never be great. Okay, you did that to dig at her, and y'all always saying that label is always being put on Destiny, that she's aggressive. Yes, she done had some moments where she's done some fucked up shit, but at this point, she wasn't being aggressive. You just did that to stick it to her, to insult her because of the issue that y'all was going through. And they talk about this whole thing with her and Tisha. Of course, Mel still feels some way about the fact that you want me to do what you're not doing with me. You want me to open up to you. You want me to be there, but yet you didn't allow me to be there when you was having your divorce. I didn't know nothing about it. I found out about the divorce when it was over with, okay? And I knew that Mel felt some way about that because honestly, I would feel some way about that too. We supposed to be friends, and you talking about something, I thought we was going to be forever friends or whatever, but yet you couldn't bring me on as a friend and let me be there for you during your moment like this, knowing that I'm going through the same thing. Like, we could be there and shoulder each other. We didn't have to put it on camera, but at least let me be there for you. You know what I'm saying? But moving on from that, then they get into that whole thing about Mel said basically I could have blasted your ass at the reunion. You was telling me that when you said basically that we were not talking, and I did speak to you. Mel had all the text messages and everything of her trying to initiate conversations and not getting response back, or getting 1 or 2 words response back. At one point she was like, you respond chillaxing. I did not say no chillaxing. I would never say that. She's like, look girl, it's right here, pull up your phone, because I will not make up no thread. Okay, I ain't got time to make up no thread. Destiny, you got caught up. You got caught up. Okay, that's just basically it. You know, and it takes two in the situation. You wasn't doing your part. Mel wasn't doing her part. Mel said you can pull out and be to yourself for a little bit, and it's okay. But when I do it, it's a problem. But at the same time, Mel, I just feel like you just had other reason. It wasn't just because you didn't wanna you didn't want to associate with nobody at that moment. You needed yourself. You just don't want to fuck with her, and you just didn't want to say it. You just didn't want to say it. And the main reason why is because she's still cool with goddamn Martell. You bring up Martell, okay? You bring up the fact that Tisha and her you is your enemy, and you up here sitting there talking to her, and talking about this and talking about that, and I'm sitting here like, girl, you claim that you're not the one to tell people who they need to be friends with, but that's exactly why you acting, okay? I don't give a damn if you don't fuck with her, bitch. You ain't gonna stop me from fucking with her. But what I will say is, you let me know who you don't fuck with, so I can know to shut the conversation down when they try to bring you up and be like, we're not doing that, because that's not how I roll. And that's where Destiny was coming from a little bit. If I hadn't known that Tisha was your enemy, and that's how you felt, I wouldn't have said this or whatever. But then again, she probably still would have, because Tisha was a good girlfriend all of a sudden. But then she brings up the whole situation about, you up here talking to my ops and stuff, and Martell calling you, and y'all up here just chit-chatting on the phone. And I'm sitting here like, so because you going through the divorce with Martell was doing the fuck shit that he was doing, Destiny not one time was condoning all of his shit. And we saw that. Like, she was one of the main ones outside of Mel calling him out. But you expect somebody who's known Martell longer than you, and known you through Martell, to stop being friends, to stop talking to him because of what y'all got going. It don't work that way, Melody. It don't work that way, okay? The whole conversation was goddamn childish, and they really didn't get nowhere. That's just all that it is. Some people are just not meant to be friends. And at this point, I feel as though, she was like, when Tisha said at the reunion that I don't know how to keep friends, you should have interjected and said, Mel is a damn good friend and all this stuff. She do know how to be a friend. Destiny said, well, no. I ain't had to say shit. And honestly, you're proving a point right now, Melody. Like, how many friends you done went through on this show, bitch? You done dropped Tisha, you done dropped Destiny. Next thing you know, you're gonna drop Tiffany probably next season. And then Stormy probably gonna be next. Girl, you just don't know. I don't know with Mel. Like, I want to 100% like her, but I'm just cautious on her. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. I feel like with this show, for some people, for majority of the people, I feel like this show literally has gotten to their heads. I do. But y'all tell me how y'all feel. I'll see y'all later. Peace.